All right, have patience with me here. I'm going to try to get this right, but I also have to give you a warning. There's a cheesy quote coming, so ready yourself. Ready? Here we go. Those who fail to prepare should also prepare to fail. I'm going to run it back for you. Those who fail to prepare should also prepare to fail. What does that mean? It means if you're not ready for something, if you don't get yourself ready, you should probably consider what you're about to face as something that you're not equipped to handle. We have to be in a mindset sometimes to handle certain challenges in our life. Sometimes things just come at us and we just deal and we do the best we can, but most often we have time to prepare for what's coming up. We know kind of how our day goes, we know what's next in life for the most part. For a lot of us, that's a stretch, and I get that because sometimes we're just thinking about how the heck do we get to the next day, right? But also, you got to plan for that. You got to prepare. You got to prepare here, you got to prepare here, you got to prepare here, you got to prepare. You got to get yourself ready. And if you fail to do that, then you should probably not expect to have success in that situation. And I'm telling you this because this is a hot topic this week and last week because my phone and my email are just blowing up with people who have left our building. And even though, I had talks with them about, hey, listen, you're here right now in a place where you know what's expected of you, right? You got staff all around you. You know what the day's like. You know the schedule. You know what's going to happen. There's not a lot of surprises here. That's easy. It's easy. Lockup sucks, of course, but it's easy. It really is because you can predict from minute one to the end of the day what's going to happen pretty much every day. You got a few variables in there and maybe some staff changes or whatever, but for the most part, it's safe to say you know what's going to happen. The hard part, and I've warned, I just kept building this into the people that have discharged recently, that your real work is going to begin when you leave this place. I can't stress that enough because now they're struggling. They're struggling bad, and it's because they didn't realize, they didn't prepare. They failed to prepare, and so now they're failing, and it's falling apart. And it's the work that you do now and the mindset that you change here, the shifts that you make here that are going to make that easier, that transition for you easier once you leave this place, because you have to prepare for going back to those same temptations, those same friendships, those same people at school, your parents, your grandparents, your foster parents, or whoever, man. You're going back to that. I'm not saying that they're all perfect because none of us are, and some of you might be returning to situations where you've made changes. I just had a talk with one of you last night right before I left the building, hint, hint, you know who you are, about you might be doing some hard work for yourself here, but you might be going back to a situation where you know it's not the healthiest situation, man. People are making bad decisions, people are drinking and drugging too much, and people aren't being responsible. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to fall into that cycle? You're just going to let yourself just kind of roll over and just get taken in and be part of that? Or are you going to break out of that? Break the cycle, break the cycle, break the cycle. Are you going to break out of that and be different and take what you learned here and what you prepared for and be strong enough to make that change when you leave? And unfortunately, some folks that have left recently, they didn't do that, man. They heard these messages and they kind of paid attention to programming and groups when we did them and all that, listened to staff's advice, but they didn't make the change, man. They weren't ready. And so they left, and now things are falling apart, and they can identify why. It's because they didn't take it seriously. And I'm trying to get this across to you guys now because some of you are fixing to discharge or you're getting off probation or something. I promise you, that's when the work starts. It's very, very easy where you're at right now. It doesn't seem like it because of all the frustrations and the anger and resentment and things that have built up. But dude, when you get out there and things, you're being asked to do these things or hang out with these people, drink this, smoke that, all the temptations, man. That's the hard stuff. Mom, dad screaming at you, grandma, grandpa, foster parents, somebody yelling at you and getting on your case. And it's rubbing you the wrong way. How are you going to react? You going to do the same thing you did before? Because that didn't work, right? Because it got you here. Or are you going to prepare yourself to now know that these are the things I'm going to face in life? I have to be prepared for those things. It's a really advanced skill for some of you because, as a teenager, to be honest with you, like I can say safely, like I still struggle with it today to prepare for certain things, right? To put myself in a mindset where I go, all right, this is what I should be expecting when I get into this situation. As a teenager, I definitely wasn't. There was no way I was planning for anything. Really, for my life, it was just, I'm trying to plan on where I'm sleeping tonight. And I'll try to figure something out tomorrow, but for right now, I'm scared that I'm going to be sleeping outside again. So that's my prepare. And some of you might be in similar mindsets. Just how do I survive? How do I get through the next moment? Well, hey, it might be that. But I'm telling you right now, as a dude who lived through it, like, prepare. Try to prepare. And by preparing, what do? What does that mean? Lean on your people that are there, that are in your life, because you all have them, hopefully. And if you don't, we need to talk about that. Your positive supports, because they're somewhere. They're at school. You might have them at home, brothers, sisters, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, whoever, teachers, coaches. We don't know. Find those positive supports. Lean on them. Ask them for advice. Tell them when you're struggling. Use those words. Too often, here's a great example of how we find ourselves in really bad situations, how we fail to prepare, and then we fail, is when we let things sit inside of us for so long and we don't prepare for how we're going to speak them appropriately. We want people to hear us. All of us want to be heard. All of us have real emotion inside that we want to be understood and heard. Problem is some of us struggle with letting those words come out in a way that people are going to hear us. And so we don't prepare for that. We just keep it in, and we don't know how to express it, and we're nervous that they're going to take it the wrong way, and all kinds of things that we're worried about. And then by the time it's ready to come out, it's so just ready to burst out that it comes out in anger, or it comes out in physical violence, or you're breaking property or something, and that's failing to prepare. We got to prepare ourselves to know that our words are our best route. When you start yelling, screaming, swearing, name calling, people just shut them off, dude. They shut them off. You get muted. I promise you. I do the same thing, and my kids have told me throughout their lives that, dude, as soon as your voice gets to this level, we just shut you out. I get it. All right, so I got to adjust that. I got to prepare next time that if I have something to say and I feel strongly about it, I got to keep my voice at a decent level. Take that bass out of my voice or whatever I got to do. You guys do too. We all do. It's part of getting along with each other in the world and growing up and maturing and learning how to communicate. It's all about breaking a cycle. You knew I was going to get there. It's all about breaking a cycle, and that's what we're doing. So start preparing for those situations after you leave here, because if you fail to prepare for those now, you probably should start planning on failing, right? Or preparing for failing. And I don't mean that to sound like it's going to happen, because I hope that doesn't happen, but it is reality that the better prepared you are for keeping this mindset that you got going, all this great momentum, when you get out, you're going to have better success. Holy cow, I didn't realize I was at 8.5 minutes. All right, I've been rambling too long. Man, you guys got me so fired up from yesterday. That's what it was. I just can't stop talking. Hey, I appreciate that, by the way. Thank you for all the input. It was so incredibly valuable. I'm going to use a ton of it tomorrow, and I'm going to give you guys the credit for it while I'm doing it. So appreciate you. I love you guys. Let's break some cycles, baby.